Today's learning target is I can find unit rates. Today we're going to be talking about unit rates. So let's say we paid $3.24 for this 6-pack of Mountain Dew. The unit rate tells us how much one individual pop out of that 6-pack would cost. Or let's say that you were babysitting and you made $20 in 5 hours. The unit rate would tell us how much did you make in 1 hour. So in this problem here it says Desiree earns $280 in 40 hours. What is her hourly rate of pay? An hourly rate of pay just means how much does she make in 1 hour. And that, remember, is called the unit rate. So the first thing I want to do is I want to write this out as a ratio. So I've written this out here, this information as a ratio, and here it is. And I put the first number as my numerator, second number as my denominator. Now, remember, unit rate tells me I want to find out how much her hourly rate of pay is. So in 1 hour, how much does she get paid? Now, I wrote this ratio as a fraction, so I can treat it just like a fraction. Really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to simplify this to get the denominator to be 1. Now, to get my denominator to 1, I know I'm going to have to divide by 40. And I know when I'm simplifying, I have to do the exact same thing to both sides. Now 40 divided by 40 is 1, and now on my calculator, I can do 280 divided by 40. Remember, type this in first on your calculator, divided by 40. And that gets me 7, or $7. So now I found my hourly rate. I get $7 per hour. So here for this problem it says find the unit price if it costs $2 for 8 juice boxes. And then we're going to round to the nearest cent if necessary since I'm dealing with money. Alright, so my first step now is to take this information and to write it as a ratio, which I did right here. So I have my $2 here for 8 boxes. And now I set it up the same as what I did with my other finding unit rate problems. So leave myself some space, and I want to know how much it costs for 1 box. So in order to do that, I think to myself, I have to divide by 8, because 8 divided by 8 will get me 1. So I do the same thing to the numerator up here. So I'm doing $2 divided by 8. Now I did this division right here, 2 divided by 8, on my calculator, and I showed two different ways two different results that I got right here. Now, hopefully if you're looking at these, you can tell which one I did incorrectly. Okay, well, think about this. Would it make sense to be $4 for 1 box if 8 boxes cost $2? And no, you can tell that's the one where I mixed up my division. I did 8 divided by 2 instead of 2 divided by 8. So when I do it correctly right here, I get 25 cents. So I would have to put that 25 cents, and you could do the dollar sign just like that, for 1 box, and you could write it just like that if you wanted. So this problem here says the prices of 3 different bags of dog food are given in the table, this table over here. Which size bag has the lowest price per pound? So, okay, that's just another way of saying what's the unit rate of each, and let's find out which has the best unit rate. This is something that people use all the time when they're grocery shopping or at Target or Walmart, because if you can find the best unit rate, you save the most money. Now I want to find the unit rate for the 8-pound bag, the 20-pound bag, and the 40-pound bag. So I'm going to write the ratios for each underneath. Alright, now I've written my ratio for all 3 there. Notice I put the money on top, okay, and the pounds on the bottom there, and I labeled everything. And now what I want to do is find the unit rate for each one of these, and I'll use a calculator for that. So to find the unit rate for this first one here, I'm going to need to divide by 8, because that gets me to 1 pound. So I'll do that on my calculator, 988 divided by 8. And here's what I got on my calculator. Remember, when I'm dealing with money, I'm going to round to the nearest cent, which would be right here. So look at the number next to it. It's 5 or above. So this would be $1.24 per 1 pound. So I could actually put that right up there. $1.24 per 1 pound. Now I go to my 20-pound bag and I write it out. Okay, so to get to the unit rate on this one, I'm going to have to divide by 20. So I'll do that on my calculator. And that unit price is going to round to $1.17. So I place that there. Now I find my last one. And here I found the unit price of the 40-pound bag. So when I look at these, I can see the best or the cheapest unit price is the 20-pound bag. So my answer for that would be letter B, the 20-pound bag. Let's take a look at this last problem here. It says, Lexi painted 3 faces in 12 minutes at a craft fair. At this rate, how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes? Now over here I use the variable f for faces. I want to find how many faces she'll paint in 40 minutes. Now notice this isn't a unit rate right here because I'm not finding out how many faces she'll paint in 1 minute. But if I could find the unit rate, okay, if I knew how many faces she would paint in 1 minute, then I can find out how many she'll paint in 40 minutes. So let's use the original ratio we were given right here, and let's find the unit rate for that. So just like before, I'm going to set up my unit rate here, and so I want to find out how many faces in 1 minute. So to do that, I'm going to divide by 12. Okay, and I have to do that with both the numerator and denominator. Now I'm going to use my calculator here. Now on my calculator, I typed in 3 divided by 12, very carefully, made sure I did it right, and I got 0.25 or 25 hundredths. Okay, so I'm going to put that, 0.25 hundredths, and I'll put F for faces in 1 minute. And now I have it set up here where I want to go from this ratio right here to this ratio, because I want to find out how many faces in 40 minutes. Well, here's how many faces in 1 minute. So I know when I'm dealing with fractions that I can find an equivalent fraction by timesing numerator and denominator by the same thing. So let's times both these by 40. Because if I do that, now my 1 minute here, right here, becomes 40 minutes. And so I'm going to take 0.25 times 40 on my calculator. And when I do that here, we can see I get 10. So my answer is F is 10 faces in 40 minutes.